What's going down, everybody? Welcome back for another episode, another edition of the Dynasty Trade Show here in the lab with your boy Ray G, brought to you by FTN Fantasy, FTNFantasy.com. Use the promo code ALLGAS at checkout to save you a little something at the end of the day, but all the dope tools, content, resources to help you be a better fantasy football player. But man, we're back, and we got a lot of trades to get into here approaching the midpoint of the NFL season. We got a lot of good stuff to get to, a lot of players to talk about. And for those of you who are just checking out this show for the very first time, just know that when I post these trades, I am not diving into league specifics. There's too much of that, right? Like we'd spend all day on just one particular format. We're just looking at these trades, player value holistically, try to talk about it from a super flex single quarterback perspective. But let's jump right into it and start off with a damn bang. We're going to start off with a trade. One of my guys, Mike traded away Mac Jones, Najee Harris, and Jalen Waddle, and he received T. Higgins, Antonio Gibson, and a 2022 first-round pick. So once again, Jalen Waddle, Mac Jones, Najee Harris, gone. There goes most of the players in the first round. 3 of the 12 first-rounders in 2021 gone. He receives T. Higgins, Antonio Gibson, and a 2022 first-round pick. How do we feel about this trade? All right, so the best player in the deal, in my opinion, we always start there, is Najee Harris, so I lean that side of the trade first and foremost. But this is an interesting one because you can go position by position. Who would you rather have, Antonio Gibson or Najee Harris? Who would you rather have, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, and then Mac Jones versus a 2022 first-round pick? If we're talking super flex, it's Mac Jones versus Malik Willis, Mac Jones versus Matt Corral. And I'm here to tell you, a lot of people keep dumping on the 2022 class. I think it's a lot better than people are giving it credit for. So just off of the strength right there, I would prefer Mac Jones, honestly, over every quarterback not named Matt Corral in the 2022 class. That's me personally. You may feel different. You may like Malik Willis a little bit more or Sam Howell. But I trust what I see from Mac Jones early in his career. So this side of the deal, I'm just going to be honest with you, I like the Najee Harris, Jalen Waddle, and Mac Jones side better. I love the talent of Antonio Gibson. For those of y'all who don't follow me at RayGQ on Twitter. I talked about it throughout the entire pre-draft process going into the 2020 draft. I thought that Antonio Gibson could be David Johnson-like in the NFL. And so far at this point of his career, we haven't seen the receiving work. Najee Harris is getting all the opportunity on the ground and through the air. I'm not there with Antonio Gibson being like a top 5, top 10 dynasty running back. Maybe top 10, but top 5, I don't see that. Whereas Najee Harris, in my opinion, is there already. He is a top 5 dynasty running back. T. Higgins, we thought that it was going to take a little bit longer for Jamar Chase to ascend to the alpha role in that offense, and it ain't taking no time. He is the number one, the clear-cut guy. T. Higgins still getting a ton of targets, but not getting the targets that matter. Rich Rebar talks about that all the time. Shout out to @LordReebs on Twitter. Get the receivers that are getting the targets and the air yards that matter, and that is going to Jamar Chase, not T. Higgins. I like the Jalen Waddle, Mac Jones, and Najee Harris side of this deal. Whether I'm rebuilding, competing now, that's the side of the trade that I want. Mike knows I love him, but I definitely would rather Mac Jones, Najee Harris, and Jalen Waddle opposed to T. Higgins, Antonio Gibson, and a 2022 first-round pick. Now, a player who's in the news, very polarizing right now because the offense and the quarterback play has not been very good, but I'm talking about Chicago Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson. And in this deal, we saw Allen Robinson being traded for Terrace Marshall and a 2022 fourth-round pick. Listen, I know things don't look good right now for A-Rob, but I'm not this one. I want Allen Robinson. I want A-Rob. I want A-Rob in every single format. I don't care the league size, league format. He's an unrestricted free agent after this season, and anywhere he goes is an upgrade to this Matt Nagy offense. And let's not lose all hope and doom and gloom. Justin Fields is young. The offense isn't really catered to his strengths. If he stays, I do think things will turn around for Allen Robinson. Terrace Marshall, the preseason darling of the world, just hasn't been able to get on the field. A little bit of injury. Got Robbie Anderson commanding a lot of targets. But I think that train will end next year, and I do think we'll see Terrace Marshall ascend to the quarterback, to the wide receiver 1 role. But I still want Allen Robinson over Terrace Marshall in a 2022 fourth-round pick. No, thank you. No, thank you. Don't want that. Give me A-Rob. Don't panic on A-Rob, people. It's going to be okay. He's still relatively young for the wide receiver position. It's going to be okay. Don't sell Allen Robinson for a fourth-rounder and Terrace Marshall. That's you're selling pennies on the dollar at that point. Give me Allen Robinson. All right, another deal. Interesting one right here. Interesting trade. We have Courtland Sutton in a 2022 second-round pick being acquired for Nick Chubb and Devonta Smith. I mean, I would want Devonta Smith in Dynasty over Courtland Sutton straight up. I mean, I'd take Devonta Smith over Courtland Sutton, and then that leaves us Nick Chubb or a 2022 second. Good Lord. This is a landslide win for the team acquiring Nick Chubb and Devonta Smith. Not even close. Nick Chubb, one more, I don't understand why you would even accept this. I don't get it. Whoever Ryan's Chan thinks is, you need some help, brother, because this was a bad deal. No way in hell am I panic. Even with Nick Chubb can miss the rest of the season, I'd still want that side over Courtland Sutton in the 2022 second-round pick. No, thank you. All right, speaking of the Carolina Panthers and Terrace Marshall, let's head to a DJ Moore trade. Let's look at DJ Moore. I just acquired DJ Moore in a league. I think I gave up Deshaun Watson. No. I gave up Kenneth Gainwell, Rondale Moore, and somebody else. Jerry Jeudy, I think. Damn. No, I think it was, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Jerry Jeudy, Kenneth Gainwell, and something to get DJ Moore. That's not looking like a good deal. But right here, we've got DJ Moore being acquired for Rondale in the 2022 first. Yeah, I want DJ Moore. I love Rondale Moore, and the 2022 first, I do believe that will be quite valuable. But, a 24-year-old wide receiver that we've already seen be productive in the NFL, we're just waiting for a quarterback to unlock DJ Moore. We thought Sam Darnold and Joe Brady had it figured out, but we see Sam Darnold is not the answer. He is not the answer. I love Rondale, but right now in Arizona, that pecking order is DeAndre Hopkins, it's Zach Ertz, you got Christian Kirk, AJ Green. There are just a lot of players who need targets, who need receptions. And right now, Rondale Moore is looking like the third or fourth option. DJ Moore, again, young, talented wide receiver, a top 10 dynasty wide receiver right now. The ability to acquire a player like that, and you're only giving up Rondale Moore in a 2022 first rounder. I don't care if you're rebuilding or if you're in compete mode. If you're competing, you definitely want DJ Moore. If you're rebuild mode, DJ Moore is only a couple of years older than Rondale and already profiles as an alpha number one wide receiver in the NFL. That's the side of this trade that I want. Don't hate acquiring Rondale Moore in a first, but I think you can get a little bit more, as I kind of talked about giving up Jerry Jeudy, Kenneth Gainwell, and it was somebody else. There was somebody else or a pick in that trade to help me land DJ Moore. Big fan of his talent. Like that side of this trade. Now let's go to a guy that I talked about when I worked with Roto Underworld, the podfather Matt Kelly himself. I proclaimed that Elijah Mitchell would outscore Trey Sermon in 2021, and that dream, that prediction will come to fruition. We're looking good on that front. So what is Elijah Mitchell, running back for the San Francisco 49ers, being traded away for? And right here, we see Elijah Mitchell being traded away for a 2022 second and a 2022 third. Sure, fine. I still would rather Mitchell. Unless you do not believe that Mitchell will retain his role moving forward, but I don't see why he isn't. Unless Kyle Shanahan is fired or whatever the case may be. If Mitchell finishes the season healthy, he's going to roll into 2022 as the starting running back. And at that point in time, if you want to trade him, his value is at least a first-round pick in future rookie drafts. This is a move that I would have made early in the season, like after week 1, after he had that explosive week versus Detroit. I think this would have been okay, but right now, at the point in the time we are in the season where running backs are dropping like flies, people need those productions, teams need that production, I don't think I'd move Elijah Mitchell for a second rounder and a third rounder. That's just how I feel. I don't think he's got to at least, I'd want 2 seconds minimum, and I'd prefer those seconds to be in 2023 opposed to 2022. Don't hate this deal. Don't love it either. I probably would just rather have Elijah Mitchell opposed to a third rounder in 2022 and a second rounder, just where I'm at personally. All right, let's take another look at a young rookie running back who's had a dominant 2-week stretch, the only running back to hit 100 rushing yards versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm talking about Khalil Herbert. Love this trade, acquiring Khalil Herbert for Anthony Schwartz, the wide receiver from Cleveland, and a 2022 second-round pick. That's what I'm talking about. If Herbert's going for a 2022 second, and we know once David Montgomery comes back, Herbert will take a back seat to a certain degree, then Elijah Mitchell should be way more valuable than a 2022 second and a 2022 third. I love this. If I could trade for Khalil Herbert, I would do it because I do not think he's going to go away, fade into oblivion, not be involved in the offense. Even when David Montgomery comes back, I really like what I've seen from Khalil Herbert early in his career, and I believe the Bears probably do as well. They trust the kid. He's playing over Damian Williams, who's a very capable running back in the NFL. They trust Khalil Herbert, and Khalil Herbert has earned touches. Even when David Montgomery comes back, love this side of the deal from my man. I'm not good. He's always making trades, always making moves. Give me Khalil Herbert over Anthony Schwartz, Wolf, and a 2022 second-round pick. All right, where are we going next? Let's look at Josh Jacobs. What's going on with Josh Jacobs? So, all right, Josh Jacobs was acquired along with the 2022 first-round pick for Austin Hooper, Allen Lazard, a 2022 third, and Joe Mixon. All right, so here we go. Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon. Best player in the deal, Joe Mixon. We lean that side of the deal first. Second best player, Josh Jacobs. Third best asset, the 2022 first-round pick. Is the difference between Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon so vast that 2022 first-rounder doesn't equal out sort of the overage of the Joe Mixon-Jacobs deal combined with Lazard, Hooper, and a third-round pick? Oh, man. This is one... I don't know what Josh Jacobs is long-term. Sorry, I needed a sip of coffee. I got to think about this one. I don't know. He looks good when he's on the field. He's always damn hurt. Coaching change in Las Vegas. Ah, man. You know, Mixon's not receiving the receiving work we thought he would. That's going to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. This one is tough. I probably lean Jacobs in the 2022 first side because, I mean, Hooper's a streaming tight end, low-end tight end one, more like a tight end two. Lazard, I know he's played well over the past couple of weeks, but he's never going to be anything more than a dart throw wide receiver 3. 2022 third, I don't care about. I'll take Jacobs in the first. I think this is a good trade. The team that got Mixon probably feels really good, and Evan probably feels fantastic that he got a 2022 first in Josh Jacobs. Don't hate it, don't love it. I think it's a wash. I think this one is a wash right here. Let's see what y'all tell me in the comments. I don't know. Here's another, and this is why. So I followed this up purposefully because we see Joe Mixon being acquired for a 2023 first rounder and a 2022 first. I would much rather I would much rather a 2023 first instead of Josh Jacobs for my Joe Mixon. You get what I'm saying? One more time. Let's go back. So if we could switch out Josh Jacobs, see a 2023 first there, so you get 2 first-round picks for Joe Mixon. The rest is noise. I like that a lot more than Josh Jacobs. Like I know that sounds crazy, but I would take the chance on one of those top 5 running backs in 2023. Sean Tucker, Bijan Robinson, Tank Bixby, Jahmyr Gibbs. I would rather take a shot, Zach Evans, over on one of those running backs opposed to Josh Jacobs at this stage of their career. So on this side of the trade, give me the 2 first. If I can get rid of Mixon, who I still think Mixon is, he's playing fantastic. Running well. He's not receiving the receiving work that we kind of want, but he's playing really good football. But if I can get a 2023 first and a 2022 first for Joe Mixon, potentially replace him with Isaiah Spiller or Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, combined with a Zach Evans, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tank Bixby, love that side of the trade. Good job, Evan. I think that's fair value for Joe Mixon. All right, let's go with a bang. Let's hit a big boy right here. Here we go. Big boy deal. We see Brandon Cooks, Alvin Kamara, Darrell Henderson in the 2023 third being acquired for Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, 2022 fourth, and a 2023 second round pick. Best player in the deal, dynasty-wise, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, Alvin Kamara. So we lean the CeeDee Lamb side. But listen, Brandon Cooks is still young-ish as a wide receiver. I know his situation is trash, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Brandon Cooks on a new team next season, potentially before the trade deadline maybe Houston unloads him as well. Alvin Kamara, Darrell Henderson, these are win-now moves. If you want to win right now, I love this side of the trade, and I still think they hold some dynasty value into 2022. CeeDee Lamb, I know it's like, I'd rather have CeeDee, but I think it really just depends on what type of team I have. If it's a complete rebuild, and even then, in a complete rebuild, I'd want something other than the 2022 fourth rounder. Maybe if that's a second, maybe if that's a third. I love the fact that side is getting a 2023 second round pick, very valuable. Love CeeDee Lamb, not in love with Josh Jacobs. But this is a good deal. Carlo, good deal. I think Brandon Cooks, Alvin Kamara, Darrell Henderson definitely help you push for a fantasy title this year, and that's what it's about, man. Like, Herm Edwards said it, we play to win the game. We play to win, and I understand the goal in Dynasty is to be good short and long term, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, and you got to pick your battles. Are you going to go for the title? It's hard to win in Dynasty. It's hard to win fantasy championships in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So when you have those opportunities, you have to take advantage of it, and I really like going after it. Kamara, team backed up with Mark Ingram. We see him catching balls out of the backfield now, looking like the AK-41 that we all know and love. Darrell Henderson playing fantastic instead of Cam Akers, who looks like he may come back January if they make the Super Bowl. He could potentially play this season, but we know he's going to be back for next year. But Henderson's going to be a nice complimentary back in the NFL, and Brandon Cooks is still just Mr. Reliable, Mr. 1000. Like that side of the deal. Even though I hate giving up CeeDee Lamb, I think this was just one of those moves you make where you're like, I'm going to win, I want to win, and let's make the move. Like it. All right, final deal we're going to look at, the King. King Henry, my boy Brett. And I'm telling you right now, I know how Brett dynasties, and he dynasties to win now. He plays year to year in Dynasty. Interesting strategy. I'm not going to say I agree, but I don't disagree, man. Sometimes you got to go for it and win, and there's no better player to help you win right now, maybe outside of Cooper Kupp, than King Henry. He acquired Derrick Henry for Javonte Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, and a 2022 third and a 2023 second. I get it for win now. I mean, I think Derrick Henry is going to be solid for another 2 or 3 years. I think he's going to be fantastic for another 2 or 3 years. He's just built different. I can see a world in which Javonte Williams goes into the offseason, going into the 2022 NFL season, as a top 10 dynasty running back, especially if Denver does away with Melvin Gordon. I mean, he just reminds me, my pre-draft comp for him was Marion Barber. He reminds me of a little more explosive version of Marion Barber. And I think there's a real possibility that Javonte Williams takes the leap over some of these older running backs in dynasties, the Ezekiel Elliott's. He's already ahead of Miles Sanders for me in my personal rankings. I can see Javonte Williams being a top 10 dynasty running back going into next season. So I hate giving up a potential top 10 running back and the 2023 third. But I mean, honestly, that's probably the cheapest I've seen Derrick Henry be traded for. I mean, if all you're really giving up is Javonte Williams in a 2023 second in order to get a player who's definitely going to help you win this season and next season and probably the season after that, I don't hate it. If I'm win now, Derrick Henry is the play. He's going to help you win. He's the king for a reason. He's unstoppable. He's a tank. He's built different. Again, Javonte Williams, I think, is a top 10 dynasty running back right now. Right now, he's a top 10 dynasty running back, even though the production isn't playing out this season because of Melvin Gordon. Quarterback upgrade, get Jerry Jeudy back. Melvin Gordon's out of the way. Boom, Javonte Williams, top 10. He might be top 8, top 6. but getting King Henry in return, he's going to help you win for the next couple of years. Now, I appreciate you checking out this show. In news, I will be dropping this show twice a week. Everybody wants to see Dynasty trades. The next edition of this, a lot of Patrick Mahomes trades. People are panicked, I guess, because he's had a couple of bad games. The Chiefs haven't looked good. I'm seeing some wild stuff happening for one Patrick Mahomes. But Dynasty Trade Show here on FTN Fantasy 2 times per week, starting like this week, next week, going into next week. So we'll drop this one, have another one in the next couple of days, and we'll keep bringing you dope content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to In the Lab Podcast. Go to FTN Fantasy. Once again, use the promo code ALLGAS. Save you a little something on the checkout. If you appreciate the content, thumbs up, like it. I appreciate y'all being here. And until next time, I'm out of this thing. Peace.